And now to our final story of the day. The film business or the movie industry itself is a capital intensive industry, and no project, every project comes with with a lot of demands, in terms of money. And even if you don't get the entire money, you would have to negotiate with all parties involved and see how best you can go about achieving the goal of shooting the film in the vision of the director or the producer, or rather, and the producer. Well, there is a youngster in Ghana that is bent on shooting a blockbuster action film with zero budget. I like the zeal and the fact that he already has a team of like-minded individuals who are determined to get this done. And I must say that usually when a film project is said to have zero budget, it does not necessarily mean no money is involved. Maybe in terms of proper or documentation as to a film having a proper structured budget, that can be termed as such. But regardless, there is still what I would call, if not physical cash, there is still capital in terms of talent, resources, and a whole lot. So there may not be physical cash involved, but at the end of the day, there's still going to be some form of expenses that would go into the production, because for even the individuals to travel to and fro from wherever they may be to gather on set, to the meals that has to be eaten to keep the crew and the cast energized to keep on shooting day after day, to whatever logistics that they will be using, even if it is not rented out to whatever team may be involved in the production, there is still some form of capital, involved. But this time, not in terms of finances, but in terms of logistics. So, yes, there could be a production termed as a zero budget. However, regardless, there is still capital in different forms that is involved in this production. So I still understand the fact that yes, this film can be termed as a zero budget, and zero budget because I'm sure he is well networked to get this done, and I applaud him for that. You don't have to wait till you get all the finances or the money to get your film projects going. But my hope and anticipation is that they have worked out, all the kinks with the hope that they will not go shooting and be locked, at a point in time when they are on the project, because you would have to pull all the necessary resource. I think even today it makes it much more possible, because with the advent of AI, or I would say affordable softwares, or even in certain cases, free softwares that you could use, something like Blender, provided there's a skilled person who can pull off, how to use the technology well, you could still cut down on your budgets for your production massively. So yeah, it is quite possible. As to whether it can be a blockbuster, that is another question or discussion altogether, because blockbuster actually involves quite a lot to be termed as such. And my concern is that it being action, my concern is um, how safe is the technique, is the approach. I mean, because you're talking about action film, I don't know whether it involves picture vehicles, it involves certain harnesses and all that. So safety should also be of concern when it comes to shooting an action film. And I hope they have the necessary experts who will be there to ensure that nothing goes wrong in the process of shooting this film. So that is what I'm hoping that they've been able to work out. Otherwise, having a zero budget production is a perfect thing. But being a blockbuster and being an action film definitely would involve some form of caution, and that would also involve some form of money to make sure that the necessary security and checks and balances are put in place so that nothing goes wrong. And that is my hope and anticipation that he's done the background work to make that happen. But I like the fact that he's made it known that he's shooting it with or without the finances available. And I think with this made known, already being published in City Newsroom, one of Ghana's prominent, I think, media houses, it does give him a little exposure with the hope that whilst they are still shooting, sponsors or partners can come on board and lend a helping hand one way or the other to make that happen. So I'm excited about this, his approach and his zeal to make this happen. However, I'm hoping that the necessary precautions have been put in place to ensure that everyone is safe, from director to writer, I mean, to every crew member and every cast member, is safe, to ensure that things go on as planned. And my hope is that he is able to achieve what he set out to do, because we need a lot of people to, a lot of filmmakers with this zeal to make that happen. And I'm sure he knows the scope of his budget, and he has the team who are determined like himself to ensure that they achieve whatever they have set out to do. So congrats to Richmond, Roxanne, and Rock Films Africa for having such a zeal. And I like his passion. And if you read the entire article, he did say that one of his desire is to be one of Africa's leading filmmakers. And my hope is that he does achieve that. He does achieve that, because it is something that we need for not just Africa. My hope is that it doesn't just end up being one of Africa's leading filmmakers, but it should aim for the world at large, because we need voices out there to compete on the global stage. And I think with this attitude, he can really go far. He can really go far. So kudos to him and his team, and we'll be praying for him to make sure he achieves his vision, whichever way possible. And I hope that for those who have the network to make things quite easy for him, if you happen to hear this news, please do well to support him, because in the creative space, it's great to have people with such passion and determination to achieve it at all costs necessary. And I'm happy for Roxanne, and I'm hoping that perhaps with some of the initiatives being done by SG, Bank and other places, they may be able to see this and lend a supporting hand to him and his team. So congratulations to him once again for embarking on this massive project, and I pray he succeeds in its entirety. So yeah, let me know what you think about this pure, unfiltrated passion by Roxanne to get this film done. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below.